Hey guys, Mechanite here. Back with another story that is eerily similar to the Beast Quest series. And I'm quite glad because, boy, has that reality got some cool stuff I'm excited to share with you even more in the future. And I've even been to it before. However, I haven't actually managed to make a video about it yet. So there are going to be some things in this you might not understand. But I hope that eventually it all makes sense when that next video comes out. Anyway, let's get into Beast Quest Zombies. So, Tom was in a dark castle that was surrounded by dark aura. No beast could get in. All the good beasts Tom had ever saved, or even just met, were there, trying to break through the barrier. As Malval was on the inside, he had Aduro chained up, and he was fighting Tom. Tom and Ella were inside fighting Malval, but to no avail. Malval had perfected every single one of his spells. That's when I arrived. I burst through the dark aura as Aduro had granted my hammer the ability to do so. That's one of the things you'll understand more in the next video. And I burst in to see Eleanor on the ground bleeding. I instantly tried to get up to Aduro to try and free him, but it couldn't work. There were spells busting all at me, so I tried to get Eleanor back up. Tom and Malval were fighting extremely hard, and Malval had even managed to push Tom to the ground and was blasting a beam of the dark aura. But Tom managed to block it with his sword thanks to it also being granted the power, and managed to force it back onto Aduro, which caused a shockwave throughout the entire force field blocking the castle. The castle was in ruins after that. However, it wasn't the only thing in ruins. Tom, me and Eleanor woke up from the crash. We couldn't see Malval anywhere, thinking he must have fled. However, we saw Aduro barely staying alive against the concrete. Or just a rock. Or whatever that thing was made out of. We tried to leave to get Aduro to a healer. However, then this thing arrived. We saw all the beasts around us struggling and ripping off their own skin. All the good beasts, and even a bunch of evil beasts that had been trying to stop them, were there normal, and we couldn't quite figure out why. However, eventually we did, because these had all been turned to zombies. Malval was standing up on a magical dark magic pedestal above the ruins of the castle, using his spells to move around the husks of what these good beasts once were. This was the first one that approached us. Vedra and Crimin had been brought together in this zombified form by accident, creating a hybrid of a beast. It attacked us, shooting out random bursts of flame, and we managed to dodge and even run away. But then this thing threw a rock at Tom that sent him flying over into the distance. It tried to fly after him, but it couldn't fly, and it let out an ear-deafening screech that we couldn't stand, seeing these beasts in such pain. We ran over to Tom. He was injured against a rock, and he was trying to use Score's crystal to mend his broken bones. But then another zombie revealed itself. Zombified Tagus. It charged at Tom, and he had to roll out quickly. It tried to punch him and claw at him, but Tom couldn't have it. He was trying to block it with his shield to no avail, the pounding hooves on him. I managed to hit this zombified Tagus in the head with my hammer, but it just kept coming at Tom. It seemed him and Eleanor were the only ones he was focused on. Eleanor tried shooting arrows at it, but its skull just seemed to bounce off his skull. and then when it hit his skin, it barely noticed. Despite it clearly being in pain, Malvol's sorcery was going too far. Tom could barely stay alive, but luckily, one of Eleanor's arrows managed to pin this thing to the rock, and Tom managed to sadly put his sword through its skull, and using the power of his golden chestplate to throw him off into the distance. However, even more zombies were yet to come. This zombified Sorex charged at us, roaring like mad. We tried to run. We ran into the forest and leapt up in a tree, thinking we were safe, and asking to each other how we thought we might be able to get these beasts to return to normal. But this zombified Sorex was surprisingly fast. We heard a crash behind us, but it was too late. This thing leapt up viciously onto the trees, trying to grab us with its tongue that just seemed to go on forever being extended. Tom swiped his sword at it as it kept coming at him, and even the claws crashing against the trees, causing all of them to fall, and we could barely stay up. But we knew we had to, otherwise this beast would devour us. It then fell out one of the trees itself into a pond below, and it seemed like it was having a seizure, flopping around. However, when it got out, it was just as crazy and charged at us. Tom swung his sword at some of the dark aura surrounding it, but it did nothing until he hit the giant crystal-like horn on top of Sorex's head. Sorex fell to the ground. However, then its skin began to bulge and bubble. Tom worried that he had done something horrible, inflicted a curse on the dark magic, until he heard Malvol shout no from the distance in a roaring voice. Then Sorex returned to normal, and was grateful for Tom's help. It turned out on each one of these beasts, there was a certain point on their bodies, or even inside their bodies, or even just a certain point anywhere, that was the source of their dark aura, and if Tom managed to destroy it, well, then these beasts would turn back to normal. Though that wouldn't be easy as our next zombie approached. Zombified Madara, this power-hungry, and generally hungry, beast, was prowling us as we walked through the forest of Sorex, trying to find any other zombified beasts, as we knew we were injured, but we had to quickly return them. And then this beast showed up in the trees. It roared at us, its fur spiking on end, and it jumped down. Sorex went to attack, but Tom told them to stop and let me do it. I don't know why he chose me, but I think it was the right decision to let Sorex stop instead of killing this beast. I charged at it, smashing it with my hammer, but it just kept coming at me. It pounced up into the trees at one point and straight back down, knocking me to the ground. But Tom wasn't no help at all, and neither was Eleanor. She shot an arrow at this thing's eye. Blood splattered everywhere, and it roared like crazy. But I managed to grab onto some of its fur and climb up onto its back, despite all the fur I grabbed seeming to fall off, like it was barely connected. And then I smashed my hammer around, not knowing where I was going to hit, but eventually I must have hit the right spot, as this beast also fell to the ground. We knew it was going to recover, but now we had to go to the other zombified beasts we'd met. As we were going over to see the Vedra Crimin zombie, Malvol laughing at us in his sadistic, roaring, dragon-like voice, we saw his sword on the ground, bubbling and melting. We didn't know what it was, but we knew that if it was Malvol's, then it was certainly a trick, and Sorex instantly crushed it. However, then we heard a roar and a thud in the distance. We saw the zombified Tagus fall to the ground. And then when it arose, it's a skin of... We saw that Tagus's facial skin, if that's what you call it, was actually lying on the sword. Tagus grew back, and it had been his sword. Now, that had been the point for his evil energy, and he had returned. All the good beasts were saved, including this Madara as it began to show itself, went to fight the Vedra Crimin. They fought like crazy, and we thought there was no avail, until Eleanor managed to shoot an arrow right into the brightest orange spot when they were bursting their flames in between their body. They thumped to the ground, and once again, they split into the two beasts they once were. There are still zombies out there, and Tom and Eleanor, as I speak, are probably trying to hunt them down and save them. However, for now, I'm just glad we managed to save 4. 5 sort of, because of the twin beast Vedra Crimin, but it was 4 zombies, but 5 beasts. Oh well, I guess that means I can say I got 5 things in this video. Isn't that exciting? 4, 5? Okay, I gotta think about this. Wait. I'll see you guys next time.